Alright guys, so we're gonna try the internet's favorite, YouTube's favorite cold start video. I'm also gonna do some power washing on the L9000 today, but that's why I got my power washing gear on. I've already been washing some mowers and the gator and whatnot, so let's see if it'll fire without ether. There you go, she fired right up. Didn't even hesitate. Got a good solid injection pump. Let her warm up for a bit. Alright guys, so I knew this was going to happen, but I gotta say I'm even more amazed at this than I expected. It's obviously shiny right now because it's still wet, but I mean, amazing amount of crap came off this thing. So a few things I found in part of power washing. A lot of the rust areas that I expected or knew were there. The bottoms of the doors may or may not be salvageable. Rockers. This rocker's the good one. That's repairable, not a big deal. You can see the bottoms of the doors on the inside showing that scale too. Lower rockers though are good. We're gonna put a filler panel in here anyway with some chicken lights to cover those air tanks. Power wash the insides of the doors too. Surprisingly, the rain sill trays up top on the roof are good all the way around. I knew I had some minor issues back here at this seam, and you can see over there, I'll get closer, but you know, it's not amazing. We'll have to basically sand that down, and I mean, luckily it's a, you know, not a very visible spot, so sand it down and maybe we just put a filler panel over that and let it rust behind it. I don't know. It's been repaired before though. I do see, I don't know if you guys can see that. See that right there? There's some crack and some body filler, so it's been fixed at some point. Probably when they did this yellow paint, which they didn't prep for very well. It is blue underneath, that color there. But anyway, tank straps are sketchy. They'll probably do for now, most of them, but they at least need paint. They really need to be, you know, get new rubbers behind them and redone, and obviously that would be the time to get these tanks polished, but whew, man, that's a lot of work. So we'll see in due time. That's not a high on the list here. Hopefully, whether I get new doors or the other side isn't bad, but this door card's trash. So I'm sure we can find some L9000s and salvage. Floors are actually surprisingly pretty good from what I've seen. You know, that rubber could stand to be replaced. Got some spots like that that are flipping up. We're going to do some vacuuming here in a minute. But I don't know, it's not again, I think the floor can do for the time being. In time, you know, and I might do a wood floor like I did, or a fake wood floor like I did in the International. Still can't read that tag. I think, oh, that looks like, if I look close there, that might say, on foam. I don't know what you guys think, but it looks like it says 20,000 to me, which is about what I thought. I would expect this to be about a 20,000 pound winch. So that tells me, I think, what I need to know. The other thing I found is I think portions of this body were originally a wrecker. I think these outers and this rear portion, I think, was actually a wrecker body at one time. You know, the lights on the back. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that it was actually a wrecker body. And then I think these boxes were original to that. And I think that this whole riser assembly that holds that chain was added. And obviously that boom is homemade. That's a whole bunch of, whatever that is, 10-inch I-beam welded together. You can see the size of the pins. I don't know how scale you can see, but that's my hand. So that's like a, I don't know, it's got to be 1.5 inches. Definitely some beefy hardware. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on the motor. We'll degrease that another time. But all in all, I mean, it cleaned up pretty dang nice. Got the battery box covers back on. You can see this is my bad rocker. So we got our work cut out for us there. Just gonna, you know, cut it back to where it's decent back in here, and we'll form something and make us a new rocker. Because I don't think there's anything available. This door is in ever so slightly better shape. So again, we'll see. We might end up doing the same thing. I mean, maybe we just do a panel of some stainless steel covering that, clean it up, and, you know, rust proof the crap out of that, and just cover it. You know, this isn't supposed to be a show truck here. We want it to be looking nice, but I don't want to go overboard. See what happens when you go overboard? And I'm not done with that yet. So anyway, she cleaned up real nice. Okay guys, well, did a little more work on the interior. Still gotta wipe out the insides of the windows. But anyway, unfortunately, found some problems. I won't say they were problems I didn't expect, but they're repairable problems. You can see we've got some floor on the ground here. So Ford, like everybody else, didn't put proper drain holes down into that is. Oh yeah, that's a hole. That's my finger down there. Pushing on that. Anyway, I have decided that's what I'm doing with the doors. I'm not taking these doors off. We're gonna cut out the rot and we'll plate that over. There might even be something you can buy like that. But this is the bad side. So it wasn't just the rocker. Rocker's gone, and big problem, they tried to Bondo over it. Never do that, guys. Don't Bondo over problems. You got to solve the rot before you can. Fillers not to fix rot. Fillers to smooth it after you do body work, i.e. steel. So we don't have a floor on the passenger side. Unfortunately, it does kick over here to the doghouse frame, but I think there's still good metal. You can't really tell. I shouldn't say good metal, but there's metal up there on that frame, so should be able to clean that up and get something to tack to it. And we're just gonna take this panel off, obviously do a little more vacuuming, but we're just gonna make the floor. It is what it is. Pull that wiring out of the way, get the seat out of here. It's not the whole floor. This is absolutely the worst of it. But I'm sure underneath that seat is probably just about gone too. So we got good steel at the back. We got some decent rocker material here. That's the air tank right there. So anyway, we'll do that, and that'll give us an opportunity to put new you know, some Dynamite type soundproofing material down, and do us a new floor. Luckily, you know, this is more of a, it's not quite as flat as some things, but this is doable. You know, the cab frame itself is still good. You know, even that piece is still, that cross member there is still good. So anyway, we found that. I did do wipe down the interior. Headliner's got a little sag to it, but it's in good shape. Need new door seals, obviously, that's a minor deal. Radio doesn't work, but hey, it's a standard slot, so I can put a decent stereo in. The speakers sound like they do work. We'll probably end up replacing them, but we'll see how they sound. So anyway, that's the floor. And this side is, we're a little better off. Pulled it out again. Door sills are junk. Let's get some new ones. You know, we got a little bit of rot. We got one hole, and I see why the throttle pedal wasn't working right, because hopefully we can still drive this piece of shit like this. I have to rig something up. I think it's wanting to throttle all the time right there. It was being held up by the carpet, which was letting it pivot. But anyway, that's rotted away, so we need a new throttle pedal. But you know, overall, this side isn't nearly as bad. It's fixable. So at some point, somebody had put a bunch of slits in this carpet. Obviously, you know, this is an 87. You know, these cabs probably weren't known for lasting forever. I see a lot of them for sale online, full cab assemblies, which tells me it's an issue. But the bigger problem is they had already cut this carpet up, and it looks like they had done some kind of repairs or changed seats. I don't know what they did, but somebody cut it all up, which obviously all that does is introduce moisture. And then this is back in the day when they used that awesome insulation or whatever you want to call it that held moisture. So at any rate, we'll get her fixed. Cleaned up the dashboard, looks pretty good. We got a little rust over here on this side, but you know, those panels could be painted, but honestly this isn't even in that bad a shape. The only thing I don't like on the interior the most is the steering wheels. I think that's, you know, that chrome's just gone, so I ended up pulling the wheel and just scuffing that up and painting it. That'd be the easiest way to solve it. But you know, not a perfect, you know, not a showroom clean job, but we got everything wiped down and looking better. Unfortunately, even when I paint this truck black, she's gonna stay blue on the inside because I'm too lazy to do the whole shoot and match here. I need a new shift boot. But yeah, even fire extinguisher's actually still got a charge to it. So that's where we're at for today, guys. I'm gonna get this stuff bagged up and spin the old truck around, maybe take it for a quick spin just because it's so much fun to drive. And yeah, so been a productive day, productive weekend, getting this thing out of the weeds and washed up and running. And 2 days time, this truck went from forgotten to having hope for another life. I think another couple years sitting where it was sitting underneath a tree, it probably would have been too far gone. There is more, you know, there's little rust issues here and there, and there's some cracked fiberglass, and there's stuff I got to fix, but you know, I think we caught it in time that it can still be saved for what I want to do with it. You know, I do keep thinking, whether it's salvaging some of this platform, which I'm leaning towards, or whether it's, you know, cutting out and making myself a new platform. Regardless, I picture this winch sitting right where it's at, and a short little platform here if I wanted to strap anything to it or whatever. Potentially even with some short sidewalls maybe. And then, you know, basically open frame. I might incorporate that into some front flaps and some sort of, you know, maybe a catwalk and a step, whatever. We'll figure out how that all works together. Be a good little fab project, but in its most basic form, I think this body's coming off, basically, is what it boils down to. And that fifth wheel's coming with it, and we're just going to have probably a goose ball on this thing, because that's all we really need. If I ever wanted to put a fifth wheel plate on it, I could, but so this time I don't need it, so why would I do that? So anyway, guys, that's where it sits. Probably do some more work to it next weekend. I'd love to get working on that injection pump, try to turn it up a little bit, and you know, maybe some few odds and ends, get rid of those front mirrors and start delving into that, torching that body off and See what we can do. I also need to put a tape measure to it. I don't think it's gonna fit in my barn. Obviously it won't with that boom, but once the body's off, I would love to get it in that barn this winter to work on it, because the International can easily go to the shop at work, which is, you know, that way I get it. It's still, I can throw some cloth tarps over it to keep the dust off of it and keep it dry there and not be in my way in the barn, and out of, you know, otherwise I got a heated barn with no real way to use it. But I don't know, maybe if the stacks would have to go for sure. Probably the light bar, she might fit then. Definitely a lot physically larger truck than what the Lodestar is. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. Hope you like the L9000.